Hey YouTube world, it's me Coco and I am back with another video. And before I get into the video, y'all know I got to do my little birthday countdown. So the girl got 8 days until her birthday. 8 days until her birthday. Y'all, I've been going to the gym lately. And when I tell y'all my body hurt, my body fucking hurts. Y'all, like it really does. Okay, but before I get into it, I wanted to talk about my birthday gift, right? So my aunt makes jewelry, right? She makes custom made jewelries, and of course, she has like things that she does, like like set jewelry. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Set jewelry, and she does custom made jewelry, right? And these are the things that she made me for my birthday. She made me this evil eye necklace because I've been telling her about my situation with my stalker or whatever, right? So she was like, let me make you this evil eye so I can protect you. Okay? And look, y'all, trust me. I got my evil eye too, right on my altar. But yeah, she made me my evil eye necklace. This is only a few of the things that she made me. I got other things, but this I'm sharing this because she made me this for my birthday. But she made me this necklace, and she made me these beads. Um, which one was it? I think it's this one. This one is pretty much straight crystals with like a few beads. Like all of them are crystal jewelry, except for this one. This one I think is just a beaded one. Okay, got a few crystals. Okay, but this one is like mostly made of crystals with just a few beads. This one also. This one is like all crystals, right? This one is a mix of both, and then this one is also, yeah. But yeah, these are the bracelets that she made me. I think she said it was black obsidian. I know this is black obsidian. I want to say she said black tourmaline, but I know she said these are pyrite, these are hematites, the Dalmatian jasper, and stuff like that. This one got howlite, pretty much the same thing, but this one got howlite added, and it's not any pyrite on it. And pretty much they all got the same setup in a way. So yeah, if y'all want to check out her jewelry, I'm gonna tag her Instagram down below. I'm gonna actually link her Instagram so that way y'all can just go to her Instagram, right? But I'm gonna tag her Instagram down below, right? Okay, so for today's video, I wanted to talk about um toxic spirituality, right? Like, don't get me wrong, spirituality is cool and stuff, but I feel like lately, since it became available to the masses, it's became really toxic because people are doing it for selfish reasons, and then a lot of people still lack accountability and self-awareness and lack basic social skills, right? Like, for example, like one of the social skills and the lack of accountability that people lack is like relationship building, right? And I like to use my mom as an example because she's one of the toxic people in my life, but she's also a person I love very much. So I want a relationship with her, right? So of course, toxic spirituality is like, well, you should cut your mom off because y'all argue too much and she don't know how to respect you as the adult that you are, right? But the accountability, people lack accountability. Do me and my mother really argue because she's toxic, or do me and my mother argue because she was trying to tell me not what to do per se, but she was trying to pretty much guide me, and I wasn't trying to listen to her guide because of my feelings that I had towards my mom because of certain things that she did, or I'm not listening to her guide because she is my mom, and I don't feel like my mom knows too much because she's a mom and she's not somebody my age that's going through some shit. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I met my mom with a lot of resistance growing up, which is why another reason why we butted heads so much, because we both met each other for resistance. I can't sit up here and keep blaming everything on my mom. If my mom talked to me a certain way, and mind you, some people, you just have to realize that it's just some people's character. Like with my mom, she has an aggressive voice. She's just naturally loud. She's not trying to disrespect you, she's not trying to overshadow you, she's not trying to yell at you or anything like that. That's just who she is. And she definitely does work in an environment where it's loud, so she has to talk loud. Then on top of that, she spent the last 20 something years raising kids. And you know, us as parents, we yell at our kids. So again, it's like over 20 years of being loud. So that's just who she is. It's not her being disrespectful, right? So the average person would be like, oh yeah, your mother yell at you too much. She being disrespectful. You should just cut her off, right? You know, the people in spirituality, you should just cut her off, right? But it's like, why would I cut her off based off her tone of voice? Y'all feel like she lacks respect because of how she just naturally comes off as dominant. That's just who she is. If you cannot take a dominant person, then that's a you problem. That's not a her problem, right? And this is where the relationship building coming at, because of course I took the advice where, you know, I should cut my mom off because she didn't respect the type of person I was, right? And as again I healed, I realized I had to take accountability for the actions that I played in my relationship. Yes, I was a child in the relationship, and no, I didn't necessarily have control over the relationship, but I definitely always had control over myself. And knowing what I know now, I know that my mother was doing a lot of things out of hurt and protection. She went through a lot of shit, so her defense mechanism was to protect me. Did she do it in, I guess, the right way to her? Yes. To me, no. But at the end of the day, who am I to tell her what she did was right or wrong? She did what she had to do or what she felt like was right with her knowledge on parenting, with her knowledge on life, right? So again, it's me taking accountability on my for my actions and actually taking the steps to repair the relationship. Like, not everybody that's toxic needs to be cut off, because honestly speaking, not everybody that we label to be toxic is toxic. And another great example of this was my ex, right? When we were together, he was going through some shit and I was going through some shit. I wouldn't necessarily say I was toxic, because I was able to handle my shit and I was still growing and I was still flourishing, right? And that's the reason why I say I wouldn't say I'm toxic, because I was a negative. I was always happy-go-lucky. I was working. I was in college. You know, I was doing what I was supposed to do, and I was actually glowing. I was having fun. I was glowing. I was, you know, on point with shit at that time, right? But he had a lot of shit going on, and he didn't know how to handle his shit properly, right? Which made him toxic, because his situation got the best of him. And for the longest time, I just labeled him as toxic. Like, no, I don't want nothing to do with you because you're toxic. You know, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, why would I fuck with you when I was with you? I lost everything because you was toxic, or whatever, whatever. First of all, the reason why I lost everything while I was with him was because it was a sign that me and him aren't meant to be together, right? I look at that shit as signs. If you with somebody and you grow, that's a sign y'all meant to be together. If y'all together and you lose stuff, that's a sign y'all not meant to be together, right? Because if you keep losing stuff, how y'all gonna make things work, right? But yeah, I was like, you're toxic, you know. And I got with you, I'm losing stuff. You can't handle your situations. You always got this going on. You got that going on. And at that time, I was actually cool with my moms, and he was beefing with his mom. So it's like, you know, I'm able to work through my relationship with my mom. Why can't you work with your relationship through your mom? And I met his mom. And his mom, to me, of course, to me, the outside looking in, wasn't that bad, right? And don't get me wrong, through our relationship, I helped him build his relationship with his mom, because I have issues with my mom, so I'm able to help other people with their moms. If that makes sense, right? So I'm like, you know, his situation was just not right, and I labeled him as toxic for the longest time. And I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm the one who actually struck his spiritual growth, because after we broke up, that's when things started shifting in his reality for him, and things started getting better for him, right? But mind you, before I get into that though, he already had his problems. Everything was already falling to shit before I got into the picture. You know, us as women, we want to be healers, we want to be builders. We want to build a man, we want to fix him up. So I was like, you know, I'm straight. I can help you with what you got going on. Let me help you. Let me help heal you. Let me help you level up and shit like that, right? But yeah, so after we broke up, things started falling into place for him, right? So after a few months of us not talking, You know, I'm on my spiritual journey and I'm growing and I'm elevating. Excuse me. And then I realized that man wasn't really toxic. It was his situation, right? Like, how do I expect him to do certain things when his current reality wasn't in line for him to do certain things, right? How can I expect him to do things when he doesn't even really have the knowledge to do things? Like, we have to realize that even though we are, you know, the same age as certain people, our mindsets are completely different. 9 times out of 10, our mindsets be completely different. Even if we have like a few of the same beliefs, or you know, sometimes we have the same thought patterns, at the end of the day, our mindsets are definitely different. And I'm very mature for my age. You know, being the oldest sibling, right? I'm very mature for my age. So there's certain things that I'm able to see that a lot of people my age aren't able to see because of the responsibilities that I had since I was a child, right? So it was like, how can I expect him to see what I see when we were really in two different positions in life in general, right? Like, we had a lot of common in our upbringing, but we were literally put into two different positions. He was definitely one of the middle children. I want to say he was like literally the middle child. It was two older than him and it was two younger than him. So he's literally the middle child, and I'm the oldest of four girls. So on top of being the oldest, it's all girls with no boys. So you know my role was completely different, right? But anyways, I learned that he wasn't toxic and that it was the situation that was toxic, right? Which is why, again, I say spirituality is so toxic, because we like to label people as these things rather than looking at the situation. Like, think about it. If you're homeless, you're homeless, you have no friends, you have no family, right? No support system, nobody that's going to help you, whether it be motivational speaking, whether it be financially, whether it be them allowing you a place to lay. If you don't have that support system, how can I tell you that you're toxic? You get what I'm saying? How can I sit up here and tell you, well, you're not doing all that you can, so you're toxic? I don't know your mindset. I don't even know how you got into the situation. I don't know nothing about your background or nothing like that, right? And spirituality, a lot of spiritual people would like to name people toxic just for being that, right? And also, too, I've seen on the internet how people really be trying to throw spirituality down people's throat. You know, it's one thing if people ask you for advice, and you be like, oh yeah, you should meditate and you should talk to your ancestors and you should talk to your higher self, or you should pray with crystals, right? Like, that's one thing if somebody asks you. But I see a lot of spiritual people be giving unsolicited advice. And now we be hating when religious people be telling us we need to look into the Bible and we need to go to church and shit. But y'all be the same people, the same exact people that be telling people they need to pray to their ancestors. That's hypocritical as fuck, right? And again, spirituality, like, a lot of people just like to put titles on things, right? Like, don't get me wrong, some things deserve a title and some things don't. Like, you know, I'm into magic. Do I consider myself a witch? No. I'm not going to call myself a witch. I'm not out here just doing spells all the fucking time. I'm not out here. I mean, technically, daily routine is a ritual. But you get what I'm saying? You know, I know I'm a multi-dimensional being, and I know I know my gifts. So I know that one label don't fit me, right? But there are people out here trying to label people. Oh yeah, you know, you're a root worker, so you should only be doing this, or because you're not this, you should not be doing that. Like, who are you to tell me? First of all, you don't even know what the fuck I am. You're looking at me on the outside, and you're just making bases of who the fuck you see me as. You don't know who I am. Like, you know, make it make sense. You don't know what my guys are telling me. Like, with the whole gatekeeping of, you know, African spirituality. Like, I wholeheartedly understand the gatekeeping of African spirituality, right? But at the end of the day, some white people actually do get called into these things. Who are we to tell them to ignore whoever is telling them? We don't know what their ancestors or our ancestors are telling them. You know, they could be one of the good ones that our ancestors is like, you know, welcome to the cookout. Or they could be one of the bad ones where our ancestors is like, all right, boys, let's get them. You get what I'm saying? Who are we to tell people what to do and shit like that? I mean, gatekeeping to the point of, not sharing it with random strangers. And if that's the case, then make that apply to a lot of people, because even your skin folk aren't your kin folk. Okay? Um yeah, it's really the labeling for me, and then pushing spirituality onto people. And then I hate when people feel like, oh, because you're spiritual you should not be cursing, because you're spiritual you should not be twerking, or because you're spiritual you should be not be fighting. First of all, when I first started my spiritual journey, I used to always say I'm spiritual but I'm from the hood. Okay? Because when I first started my spiritual journey, I was living in Southeast fucking DC, right? In one of the bad parts of Southeast DC at that, right? So anybody know me, well, not even know me, but anybody who know DC, especially Southeast DC, the area that I lived in at the time, know how they get down, right? So for me to ignore my upbringing and to ignore where I came from does a disservice to myself, and then it doesn't honor who I truly am. Am I a project baby? No. But at the end of the day, the things that I learned in these areas of my life is the reason why I'm able to survive, and the reason why I'm here where I'm at now, right? Some spiritualists, they want to ignore their background. Me personally, I'm not with ignoring that, because at the end of the day, if I ignore everything that I learned while living where I was living, imagine if somebody was to pull up to me right now and to try to fight me. My dumb ass would look appalled and not know what to do, right? But because I remember who the fuck I came from, where the fuck I came from, I'm gonna be like, what's up? Just like I'm spiritual, I'm cursing. Just like I'm spiritual, I'm gonna be ready to throw hands. And for those who follow me on social media, y'all know I twerk. And y'all know I be listening to go-go. And the go-go I listen to, it be that clapping music. You be like, hey, you know, like, what? Spirituality just became so toxic itself, because people are really getting to it for the wrong reasons. And then people feel like because they know something, they can just force their messages onto other people. And it's not like that. And there are a lot of fake spiritualists out there. When I say a lot, it's a lot. And they're giving us the bad name. These quote unquote light workers. Light workers, to me personally, doesn't exist in the terms that they think that it exists. Like, technically speaking, if you analyze my life, I would be the light worker, right? Meaning I'm the sun in a lot of people's lives. And the funny part is, Vedic astrology, I'm actually a Leo with an Aries moon and a Sagittarius rising. So sun for my sun, and then all fire for my big three. But anyways, I would quote unquote be that light worker. I'm the sun in people's lives, right? But does that mean that I ignore the human experience? No. Does that mean that I'm exempt from the human experience? No. I'm just one of those people as a light worker who is able to shed light in the darkest of situations. Like, I've been put in fucked up situations, and I know that I've been in fucked up situations to help people who were also in those situations, aka the light and the dark, right? That's essentially what a light worker is. I still had to do the work that I had to do in those situations, right? It did not exempt me from fighting. It did not exempt me. I mean, I didn't do drugs, right? But let's say I did do drugs. It didn't exempt me from doing drugs. It didn't exempt me from drinking. I still had to go through those things. I still had to do those things. But at the end of the day, I was still the light in the dark, right? I still had to go through those things to learn the lessons. I still had to go through those things and be in those positions so I could help the people that I was meant to help. But at the end of the day, I was still that light in the dark. I was that one that made sure people were still, safe. I was that one that was making sure people were still laughing. I was the one, just making sure everybody's straight. That's what a light worker is. A light worker is not someone who just ignores the human experience and be like, oh, love and light, peace and blessings, namaste, ashe. No. That is some fake ass bullshit right there. If you cannot oscillate from your spiritual journey and your physical journey, you're not doing something right. I'm gonna be honest with you, because at the end of the day, spiritualists have to realize that we are physically living this human experience for a reason. We cannot ignore this human experience. We cannot ignore this physical experience, right? Just like the enlightened ones cannot ignore the spiritual experience. The enlightened ones cannot ignore the spiritual experience, right? We have to be able to oscillate through both. We have to be able to balance through both, right? You know, sometimes you may be able to do it at the same time. Sometimes one might go up, the other one might go up. You know, like, it is what it is. But I'ma just need people to realize where their toxicity come in. It's not even about playing a victim. It's about really taking accountability for the situations that you played a part in, no matter how big or how small, how old or how young. Don't get me wrong, there are certain things where you were absolutely victimized, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about situations where you argued with your mom. What was the argument really about? Could you really have walked away from that argument? Could you have ignored that argument? You know, when you got into it with your dad, what did you really get into it with your dad about? Did you really have to fight with your dad or anybody for that being? Take accountability for the parts that you played and stop trying to cut everybody off and call everybody toxic, because at the end of the day, thing that you fail to realize, an argument works two ways. I can't argue with you if you're not arguing with me. You can't argue with me if I'm not arguing with you. Okay? And that's a lot of people's situations, is when it comes to the argument and the way people talk to them. Demand your respect. It's that simple. It's like, look, if you want to be in my life, you know, I'm growing and I'm learning, I'm evolving, and this is what I expect. And you also have to understand too that people cannot meet you where you are all the time, because that's not them, and we cannot hold them accountable for something that they're not able to achieve, and we should not cut them off just because they are unable to achieve it. My mom sent me this video talking about how as parents and children, right, as children we're like 10-gallon people, and we want 10 gallons of love from our parents, but our parents are only pint-sized people, so they cannot give us that 10-gallon love. Mind you, our parents also have multiple other kids. My mother has 3 kids, so she has 4 kids, so if she's a pint-sized person and I'm a 10-gallon person and she has to give love to 3 other people, what makes me think that she's able to even quarterly love me the way that I need to be loved, right? Like, really let that sink in. I cannot fault her for something that she is literally not capable of. You get what I'm saying? And that's how, what y'all have to realize too. Y'all cannot fault people what they are literally not capable of. If I, as a 10-gallon person, am looking for love, and I know that this 10-gallon person isn't able to, I know that this person isn't able to give me 10 gallons, that's okay. My question is, am I able to accept their pint-sized love? So, like, say for instance, my gallon of love is, you know, spending 24 hours a day with me. It's buying me gifts. These are not my things, but I'm just naming these as examples. It's spending 24 hours a day. It's it's buying me gifts, you know, at least once a week. It's taking me out on dates, you know, 2 times a week. It's, you know, doing my hair every Saturday, right? That's what I require as a 10-gallon person. If I know this pint-sized person can only maybe spend 1 24-hour day with me, and you know, buy me a gift, you know, sometimes. If I know this pint-sized person can only do my hair on a Sunday, and maybe, you know, take me out on a date like every Tuesday, I have to ask myself, am I willing to accept this person as they are and allow them to love me with the love that they have? Or am I going to take my ass and, you know, go somewhere else, right? Because at the end of the day, why is their love any less valid? Why? Don't get me wrong, it's not saying settle for less, but at the end of the day, it's saying stop cutting people off because they don't have it in them. We're meant to oscillate for a reason. We're meant to, you know, get with people that's on a lower level than us, just like we're meant to be with people on the same level as us, and we're meant to be with people on a higher level than us. I'm a 10-gallon lover. Sometimes I might meet a 20-gallon lover. You know, me as a 10-gallon lover, am I going to sit up here and meet this 20-gallon lover where he or she is at? No. No, I'm not. Right? And it's up to me to be honest with that shit when it comes to this 20-gallon lover, right? And the 20-gallon lover has to also make the decision, do he or she want to accept my 10-gallon love? Right? You know, my love for this 20-gallon person is not less valid because I'm not able to meet them. I'm able to do something that they require of me, right? I'm able to give my version of love. You know, it may not be me being able to take you out every single day. It may not be me, you know, buying you clothes every single day, but you know what I can do for you? I can make sure your health is on point, right? You know, maybe that's not something that a 20-gallon person requires. But I know that's something that I'm good at. And I know that when I put that health, love on them, they're going to appreciate it, right? You never know, because you're so focused on your, like, spiritual people are just, like, so selfish, low-key. Low-key so fucking selfish. It's just so fucking backwards, because we always talk about helping humanity and shit, but then when it comes time for us to allow these, you know, pint-sized people in our life, oh, well, you're not on my level, so I can't do shit with you. For me, it's the effort. It's the effort of learning. It's the effort of growing. Even if you never grow into, you know, a quart, even if you never grow into a gallon, if you grow to a quart, I did something. You know, even if you didn't necessarily grow into a quart, but your mind expanded, I did something. And that's really what spirituality is about. Okay, gosh. Hi there, mommy babies. Hi. Hi. Hey. But yeah, essentially that's what spirituality is about. And these people be so selfish out here. Well, if you can't talk to me like this, then I can't fuck with you. If you can't do this, then I can't fuck with you. Yeah, I mean, don't settle for less, but at the same time, you got to realize where people are at in life. And y'all also have to realize the backgrounds that we are in, okay? Where I live at, am I going to meet a 10-gallon person? I think the fuck not. I think the fuck not. Because where I originally came from, I'm pretty sure where I originally came from, there are 10-gallon people around there. Yes, there are. I've met a few 10-gallon people. Where I originally came from, and I'm from America, FYI. But where I originally came from, there are 10-gallon people around there. There are no 10-gallon people around here, right? Am I going to meet a 20-gallon person? Most likely not. Not around here. So y'all have to also take in accountability the area that y'all in. Me living in Southeast DC, was I really gonna find a 10-gallon person in fucking Southeast DC? Was I really gonna find a fucking 10-gallon person in DC? Southeast fucking DC. No, the fuck I wasn't. Not around where I was living at. Nope. It wasn't gonna be no. I would be lucky if I find a quart-sized person, to be honest. You have to think about where you're at as well. All that plays a part in everything. You got to take in accountability everything. Your surroundings, your environment, where you at, your mindset, your inner mindset, the mindset of the people closest to you. All that shit. All that shit. For y'all to be so spiritual, y'all really do lack a lot of awareness. And when I say y'all, I'm not talking to nobody in specific. I'm just talking about the whole spiritual community as a whole. Like, people just really lack the total awareness. I can't sit up here and expect to find the type of love that I want from no hood nigga living in Southeast DC. I know it's not gonna work. And that's probably another reason why I didn't date nobody around my way. Because I just knew. Right? I just fucking knew. But anyways, y'all, this video almost 30 fucking minutes. I was rambling like shit. But anyways, I'm gonna cut it there. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy the rest of y'all day.